on the phone. Just calling prospects. I mean, people who signed up for a consultation call. I have to call them before.
It's all good. You're here now, so
Yep.
no harm. Alright, let me just upload the lesson on the Google Doc. Upload the lesson. Okay. The lesson is uploaded. Let me share my screen.
Cool.
Alright. So let's go ahead and jump right in then. Today's topic is going to be on cryptocurrency.
Cool. Are we gonna find out how it works?
Not quite. I don't think we have enough time for that. But we can
Okay.
talk about it because I know a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, so let's go ahead and start with some reading to get us warmed up. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange that uses strong cryptography to secure financial transactions, control the creation of additional units, and verify the transfer of assets. Cryptocurrencies use decentralized control as opposed to centralized digital currency and central banking systems.
Yep, very good. Is anything like that new to you?
No, I mean I knew it works like um, a bunch of different computers have information that's and the information is if the information is consistent across I think over 50% of the users in the network, then it's valid or true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, essentially. But like deep down it gets more complicated because it uses something called the blockchain and blah blah
Yep.
blah. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next reading.
Okay. The decentralized control of each cryptocurrency works through distributed ledger technology, typically a blockchain, that serves as a public financial transaction database. Bitcoin first released as open source software in 2009 is generally considered the first decentralized cryptocurrency. Since the release of Bitcoin, over 4,000 altcoins have been created. Altcoins? I didn't know the term.
Altcoins. Yeah, alternative bit cryptocurrency coins, I guess. Cool. Any questions on the reading?
How do you pronounce database? I just noticed that I didn't know how to pronounce it when I read it.
Typically a blockchain that serves as a public financial transaction database.
Database.
Yeah.
Okay, my tongue just got. I don't know.
No, you're good. No worries. Alright. If you got no other questions, let's go ahead and move on to some of the vocabulary.
Okay, so asset, a useful or valuable thing or person, medium of exchange, an intermediary, instrument, or system used to facilitate the sale, purchase, or trade of goods between parties. Decentralized, the transfer of authority from central to local powers. I mean, shouldn't decentralized be like it's an adjective, so it's not a transfer, it's not a noun.
Maybe if it was just decentralized. I mean, I think when I took the definition from Google, it actually was the definition for decentralized rather than decentralized.
So transfer authority from.
Yeah, it probably should be decentralized. The transfer of authority. Same thing with the next word, centralized.
Okay, yeah, concentrate, control of an activity or organization under a single authority.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, distributed, give a share or a unit of something to each of a number of recipients.
Cool. Uh, Questions on this part?
No, I just maybe a recipients
Recipient.
recipients. Okay.
So a recipient is are you asking what the definition is or how to pronounce it?
Pronunciation.
Oh yeah, recipient.
Recipients.
Recipient.
Recipient. Okay.
Yeah. Haha. It says P in there. Okay, so no questions on here. Let's move on. Questions
Okay.
for you. So, are you familiar with Bitcoin?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
You heard about it.
Yep.
And
It's interesting.
I mean, what can you tell me about it?
So it's a form of cryptocurrency. It's a coin or cryptocurrency, and it has fluctuated a lot in the past years. People have been investing in it, and then it grew in value, and then it's just like people are using it as an asset, as a means of making money. Because when a lot of people want something and they invest in it, then the value grows, and the opposite happens when nobody wants it. The value um, shrinks. So you can basically, if you know how to foresee the future, or like uh, foresee those changes, then you can invest in it at the right time when it's lower, and then you can take out your money, and then you'll make more money out of it.
Yeah, but you know what that's called? That's called speculation.
Speculation, yeah, you can speculate.
Speculation, and that's what people do in the stock market.
Yeah, exactly. You can do the same with cryptocurrencies. And some people have earned money out of it, and some people have lost a lot of money from
Oh
it.
yeah. Do you know anyone that like made a lot of money with Bitcoin by doing that?
No, do you?
Yeah, I know a guy. He had a bunch of money, and then recently, I think I don't know, a few months ago, it recently shot up, and he bought a house.
Wow,
He
nice.
bought a house. Can you believe that?
Bitcoin.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's someone else's money, because there are some people who got like loans and then they fucked up.
Yeah, 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 exactly. I mean, if I knew about that, I would have definitely invested, but there's no way to know for sure. There's no
Yeah,
way.
you just have to go to the future, go back to the future and come back, and then you'll be rich.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next question. Do you own any cryptocurrency?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Well, I didn't see it as an investment. I saw it as a like game, and I didn't want to play. It's just too much cognitive load to think about whether it's worth the investment. So I didn't buy any.
Interesting. Do you
Uh,
regret not buying any now?
No, I don't. I
Um,
haven't earned anything. It's like all the money I have, I've earned it. So
yeah, that's true. Um, but cryptocurrency is a means of exchange, so theoretically it should be useful for something.
I mean, you can buy stuff, just like with normal money. So that could be useful. But if I don't spend time to fully understand it, I don't know. I just don't want to get something that I don't understand how it works, and it seems very, very fragile and changing all the time.
Yeah, so it's like unreliable.
Very reliable, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but like for me at least personally, I use cryptocurrency because some people like getting paid online can be a pain in the butt. So getting paid in cryptocurrency is sometimes the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
Yeah.
don't have PayPal and they don't want to do wire transfers. And what else? I can't use like other services like TransferWise or Venmo or Payoneer.
You can't
So
use them? Why?
because my bank account is in America and I can't use TransferWise.
Oh,
Wait, no, not TransferWise. Payoneer. I can't use Payoneer because of that.
okay.
And it makes it hard because some people have Payoneer, some people have TransferWise, some people have all these different forms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it.
Yep. So it helps me in that way.
So how do you buy? I mean, yeah, how do you buy cryptocurrency?
It's like it's like buying anything else online.
You just pay by card and get a bunch of coins.
I think there's some services where you can pay by card. Um, but I think um, most of them is just like through a bank transfer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when you want to cash out, it would just be like receiving a bank transfer.
Really?
Yeah, so for me it works because I get a bunch of small payments through Bitcoin, and then when I want to cash out, it's just one big transfer.
Mm-hmm. But don't you? Aren't you afraid that the money you've received a week ago will be less today?
Yep, that's one of the risks I choose to take.
Okay.
But there's other cryptocurrencies you can use that are more stable. So once I receive it in Bitcoin, it's free essentially to convert it into a different cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to make sure it doesn't fluctuate, I can do that.
Okay. Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done it a few times when I
Did
when
you
I
earn
thought
money?
I needed to. What?
Did you actually earn money out of it?
I like earn money just because of the changes in the market.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, but it's not like I'm rich from that. Like it, you know what happened? I was like, wow, look at all this money I made. Oh, and it's gone because it went back down. So it just got me like excited for nothing, I guess.
Okay. Oh wait. So it got up and you didn't cash out. Why?
I just didn't want to. I don't know.
Oh, you thought it will keep going up.
I just I didn't want to cash out. I didn't need to cash out. Like I didn't need the money. I didn't want to cash out. I just said, "Oh, I'll just leave it in there and see what happens." And then it
Okay.
went down. And then yeah, well. So yeah. All right, next question. So what are some other mediums of exchange other than like cryptocurrency and
And
that
money.
sort of stuff?
Well, money.
Yep,
Maybe
money.
people exchange normal money. And goods. You can trade goods as they would when they didn't have money, like thousands of years ago. They would use corn or something. So
Salt or
yeah,
spices.
bunch of bisons.
Yeah. Or even like services, I guess.
Yeah, like service for service. What do you, is there a term for it, like service for service or something like that? Maybe not.
Um, exchange of services.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I guess it's just called exchange of services.
Yep, exchange of services.
A barter. I saw that on Wikipedia.
Oh,
Barter.
yeah, barter.
Yeah, I guess you can barter.
Mm-hmm. You have exchange. Well, I don't know any other.
Yeah, me neither. Alright, so now I want you to describe this picture.
Okay. Um, a golden statue of a Bitcoin is standing on a dark surface, with I'm trying to describe the background, with a background of a computer monitor, maybe a with a background of something that can be a computer monitor.
Okay. A golden statue of a Bitcoin is standing on a dark surface with a background of something that can be a computer monitor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, is standing on a dark surface. I don't know if standing is the best word here, right? Because people stand.
Hmm.
Statues, I mean, it doesn't. This statue doesn't have legs, so it's not really standing. It's just kind of,
Place.
yeah, is placed, I guess, on a dark surface with a background of something that can be a computer monitor. Um, what would you put like to describe how the computer monitor looks? Because it's not clear. It's not in focused. It's
Hmm.
what is it?
Blurred.
Yeah, not blurred.
Blurred. Blurry. Okay, computer monitor with blue and
Well, no, I was just looking for the word blurry. A
okay.
blurry computer monitor, right? Which kind of helps the reader understand why it's difficult for you
Mm-hmm.
to tell if it's a computer monitor or not. All right, cool. Good job on that. Let's put it over here. There we go. Any questions on this slide?
No.
Okie dokie then. Well, what do you know? More questions. So, what kind of impact might a global decentralized currency have? Try reading the sentence as well.
What kind of impact might a global decentralized currency have? Well, since I'm not 100% sure how it works, I'm just gonna guess. So, as I said before, the fact that it is decentralized means that nobody basically, not one entity controls it. And
Mm-hmm.
so um, it's it can be more both more reliable and less reliable because you rely on it to change based on the behaviors of the people involved, of the users. And I'm thinking about the explanation from Silicon Valley where they where they created a cryptocurrency
Mm-hmm.
and it was decentralized. And they had this issue that another company was buying a lot of users. And so they would get control over their system if they had more than 50%, which was bad.
That's
Don't want that to,
interesting.
because if you have over a percentage of the users of a decentralized system, then you basically guide what truth means, because what 50% of the users consider truth, it's seen as valid. So nobody can have more than that if it is to be reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also what you mentioned, like how it fluctuates, like the value of it goes up and down really fast, so that also makes it less reliable.
Yeah, I mean, if nobody would be able to trade on it, and they wouldn't, I mean, it's hard not to trade on it when investing in it makes it go up, right? So because that's a way of making money, so you want that.
Yeah.
I mean, people will always want to make money out of stuff, so it will always fluctuate.
Yeah, it's like a dream, right? It's like free money. You want some free money? Just buy some cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, I said it's more reliable because nobody controls it, and so you don't have like a bank to say, okay, from now on the interest is going to be 4%, uh, or 4% less.
Yeah.
It's just like it's whatever happens in the environment is what guides it. So it's maybe more predictable. It doesn't depend on the wills of one entity. But yeah, it's also less reliable because people's behaviors are very difficult to predict, especially not especially if in large numbers. In large numbers, it would be more. I mean, less difficult to predict, but
Mm-hmm.
not really sure.
But what about like how is it compared to like a government currency, like something issued by a government, like a dollar or a euro? How
Yeah.
does it? How does it compare to that sort of stuff?
Um. Well, those are the fluctuation of those coins is based on those currencies based on the agreements between countries. I think I'm not sure.
That's part
How
of
do
it, yeah. And like
you,
the GDP of the country and the power of a country and all that stuff.
so you can't expect it to fluctuate that much unless the country is in really big trouble.
Yeah. So you'd say that like something issued by a government is the value is based on like
It is based on the value of the country or the perceived value of the country by other countries. And yeah, for example, if something happens, like somebody else gets elected in the country, the dollar might go up or down, and
yep.
stuff like that. So it's still fluctuating a bit, but not that much. I mean, it has like a range that you'd expect it to fluctuate in. It's it's more predictable usually. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It has like something to base off of. What
yeah,
about have you heard of Facebook Libra? This is kind of related. Facebook Libra.
no, what's that?
You haven't? So essentially it's a cryptocurrency made by Facebook.
I didn't know it exists.
It doesn't yet.
Oh,
Um but they're trying to release it, and um it's very interesting because if it becomes popular, then it will be a lot easier for me to get paid, and I don't have to take Bitcoin anymore.
yeah, but um how come some cryptocurrencies don't fluctuate that much? Isn't it because people don't invest in them that much?
I think it's based on how value is given to these cryptocurrencies. Some cryptocurrencies have value based on like more stable, um, like things that hold the value. Like a certain amount of the cryptocurrency is invested or held by like a group or a bank or something like that. So
Hmm.
like Libra, for example, the value of that is going to remain more constant because it's going to be distributed between certain like a bunch of companies. So unlike Bitcoin, which is just like literally just by itself, other cryptocurrencies have like something that the value is based off of. At least that's what I know of. I'm not an
Based
expert.
Okay, and the value is based off of the coins that are held by other entities.
Let's
Right?
see. So, let's look at Facebook Libra. Blah blah blah. Mm,
So it's sort of like mix between Bitcoin and government currencies, right?
exactly. So yeah, here's all the companies that are investors, I guess, members.
And then there's the people who buy them.
Yeah. So I guess you have to join the association and have these requirements.
Okay. But then people who buy if if somebody buys a lot of coins because they have a lot of money, then what happens?
Well, it says here each member will only get up to 1% of the total vote in the council. So there's a council.
Yeah, that's about like regulating Libra.
Yeah.
Oh, it says the Libra, wait, scroll up a bit. The Libra's value is tied to a basket of bank deposits and short-term government securities for a what's slew?
For a slew of historically. Slew. So it's like a bunch. A lot. Um, Here it is. A large number or quantity of something.
Okay, the slew.
So,
historically stable international currencies, including the dollar, pound, euro, Swiss franc, and yen.
Oh, interesting. Comes from the word for a Roman unit of weight measurement. Huh. Kind of ironic or fitting. I don't know. But yeah, so the value is tied to these bank deposits and government securities and international currencies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So now that you know about all these cryptocurrencies, do you think cryptocurrency is the way of the future? Why or why not?
Okay. Well, um, if it won't fluctuate that much, I mean, if there's a way to control it and not make have it go crazy,
So if it
more
becomes more
profit,
stable,
yeah, make it more stable, reliable,
mm-hmm.
then it's very convenient because you trust it more. I mean, if it's based on a bunch of people who don't all have the same interest in mind, like who are not um how do you say that? Like in Romanian it's complot.
What was it?
Complot,
Complot?
yeah.
Let's
Like
see. How do you spell it?
COMPLOT. Oh,
Conspiracy.
conspiring, yeah, conspiring.
Complot.
If the companies
Complot.
who are the action, like the if the investors don't conspire against the people who are buying the currency, like they don't have the same interest and they don't want to make money off it, then they just want to have a normal currency.
Yeah, but
Change
unfortunately, that already happens with government currencies, doesn't it?
what?
Like the people who control government currencies conspire to make more money, right? Or do
Yeah,
you think they don't?
they probably do. I don't know. Everybody does
Your
it.
microphone got really quiet, by the way.
I really hate it. When my I signed in using Petu's email address, and the calendar keeps inviting me to his events and keeps inviting me. I should turn the notifications off. But yeah. Okay, so in case of the cryptocurrency, you have more security because there are more people involved and not only one person, or I mean, not a group of persons with the same background.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Let's see how many slides we have left. So, let's go ahead and do the next slide. Do you have any questions on this one?
Oh no.
All right. So now I want you to fill in the blanks. According to Jan Lansky, a cryptocurrency is a system that meets 6 conditions. I want you to read that sentence and then start with number 1.
Okay, according to John Lansky, a cryptocurrency is a system that meets six conditions. The system does not require a central authority. Its state is maintained through distributed consensus. The system keeps an overview of cryptocurrency units and their ownership. The system defines whether new cryptocurrency units can be created. If new cryptocurrency units can be created, the system defines the circumstances of their origin and how to determine the ownership of these new units. So does
Cool.
that mean that when somebody buys a coin, there's a new coin created and not? I mean, sometimes new coins are created and sometimes you buy it from someone else that sold it, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there's also something called mining where you can create bitcoins, which takes a lot of processing power. And eventually there's a limit to how many bitcoins can be created, and it hasn't been reached yet.
Yeah, but it's harder to mine them. Is
Yeah,
there any other method of creating Bitcoin or just mining?
I think just mining, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Any other questions on this slide?
No.
Alright, more fill in the blanks. Go ahead and continue.
Okay, ownership of cryptocurrency uh, units can be proved exclusively cryptographically. The system allows transactions to be performed in which ownership of the cryptographic units is changed. The transaction statement can only be issued by an entity proving the current ownership of these units. If two different instructions for changing the ownership of the same cryptographic units are simultaneously entered, though it doesn't make sense, performed, no, instructions are performed, I guess. So maybe before it was transactions to be entered doesn't fit anywhere. Transactions to be entered or simultaneously.
So I don't think the second one is performed. I'll give you that hint.
Okay.
Let's go with the last one.
Okay. Well, last one seems to be performed or simultaneously performed. The system performs at most one of them. I mean, it's the
Okay,
same one, so
performed. So what do you think the second one is?
entered, but it still doesn't feel right. Is it entered? The system allows transactions to be, well, issued maybe, but still, I mean, issued seems to be better than entered there. Issue a transaction. Do you issue a transaction?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I haven't changed it yet. I think issued should be there.
Okay. So the system allows transactions to be issued in which ownership of the cryptographic
Well,
unit is changed.
oh, I meant for the third one here. A transaction statement can only be issued by an entity proving the current ownership of these units. Because statements can be issued.
Can be or can't be issued.
Can be. They can
Can.
be. It's something that you can issue to someone, you know?
Yeah. And then transactions
Or do you
are
think performed doesn't go in the last one? I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look at the answer to be sure. Do you think performed should go in the second um blank or in the last blank?
well, perform transactions sounds good, so you can perform. I mean, it can go in the second,
Okay. Performed.
but then instructions, enter instructions. I guess maybe enter is the last one. I mean, you can
Yep. If two
exit.
different instructions for changing the ownership of the same cryptographic units are simultaneously entered, because you can enter instructions, right?
I guess
The system performs at most one of them.
you can give instructions. You can execute. You can execute the instructions, right? Or execute commands. What do you?
You can you can also enter something into like a, here it says system, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can enter information into a system.
Yeah.
Cool. Good job on this one.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with some sentence structure. So go ahead and make some complete sentences out of these vocab words and phrases.
Asset. Um, Time is an asset that can work for and against you.
Time is an asset that can what?
Work for and against you.
For and against you. There's only one word I would change there. I would say for or against you.
Okay.
Because sometimes, I mean, I guess it could work for and against you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it only does one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Centralized. Um, the results of the competition needs to be centralized after the exam or after the it's a competition after the Well, after the exam, it's fine.
After the exam,
Yep.
the results of the competition need to be centralized after the exam. Like,
Like you're giving, if there are multiple rooms or something, then you, and or multiple people judging the performance of the competitors, then you need to centralize the information afterwards, or maybe during. It depends on your system.
makes sense. Okay, good. Next
Okay.
one.
Medium of exchange. Okay. Um, Money has been used as a medium of exchange since wait since when? Since
Since forever.
can you say ancient times? I'm not sure how long ago. It was probably like thousands of years ago, like the first coins.
So, okay, thousands of years ago. How would you say that? Money has
Thousands
been used as a medium of exchange
for the last thousands of years.
for the last, um, not thousands, for maybe for the
For,
last few.
you
How would you
forgot
finish the sentence?
you forgot the word last. For the last few.
Oops. For the last few. For for the last few.
uh, millennia, millennia.
I kind of want you to use the word thousand. For the
Okay,
last few
thousands of years.
1,000 years.
Okay, 1,000 years. Okay, just
For the last
thousand.
few thousand years. Because in this case, years is plural, not thousand.
Okay,
And that's what I wanted to kind of point out.
yep, makes sense.
Alright, next
Okay,
one.
you did. Um, you need to use a distributed database system for this task.
Database system for this task.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Last
Mm,
one.
decentralized. Um, Making money decentralized might be good for the economy. I, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, technically that's a sentence.
Yep.
But for what economy?
Of the country you live in, for me. I don't know. It's probably not. I don't know. I just made a sentence.
Yeah, no, and I was just trying to make you elaborate
Okay. Yeah.
for no
It's
reason. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the last slide here. So, what might be some downsides to using an anonymous form of exchange?
well.
Should be N A N by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I was listening to a book by Jordan Peterson today where he talked about systems that you're using day to day and they work and you're fine with them working, and then when they stop working, then you don't know what to do about them and you have to go to somebody else to fix them. And in case of cryptocurrency, or an anonymous form of exchange, if you don't know, if if something doesn't go as it's supposed to go and you only know the high level how it works, like you don't know the details of how it works and you don't know what to do about it when it doesn't work as it's supposed to be, like you just lose a bunch of money all of a sudden and you don't know why, and it doesn't have instructions, and then it's a pain because you don't know how to fix it. I mean, if somebody just decides, I mean, if it's anonymous, if it's just anonymous and it's not, for example, Bitcoin, you don't know where it comes from, and you don't know, there are some people who are controlling it, and so basically, as a normal person buying Bitcoin, you've no control. You
So
don't
something
really
you said there are some people who are controlling it.
Yeah, there are some people with more decision power than you, and they might decide all of a sudden to do something else about it, and you don't have any control over it
Mm-hmm.
because there are no rules for this to the system.
But the reason I pointed that out is because you said there are some people who are controlling it. I think a more accurate way to say it might be there are some people who control it.
Okay,
But why do you think I prefer to say it that way?
because it's a constant thing. It's not something that happens now, but it's a general statement.
Exactly. Right? And that's I wanted to point that out. Instead of controlling, control.
Okay, some people who control it or influence it, maybe not control it because they don't have the means to actually do anything with it, but they can influence it very to a high degree.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And
Cool.
there are no rules to the system, so you don't know what's happening and why.
But that's what makes it great, right?
Yeah, it's just this is a downside.
All right.
Was
Next
about
question. So, did you notice any Bitcoin banks or ATMs in your city?
no, I mean maybe in the airport.
So in Cluj, there's actually some in the mall.
Really?
Yeah, there's an ATM or two ATMs in Julius Mall.
Do you have a card? How do you?
I don't know. I've never tried to use it. Maybe I will one day. But there's also like a Bitcoin office in Cluj. I wouldn't say it's a bank, but it's like an office. I'm not sure what's the point.
Okay. Yeah, well, you have more of a reason to go there because you actually own some Bitcoin and I don't. Maybe I could buy some.
Yeah, maybe you could buy some, or you can talk to someone so they can inform you.
Hmm. Well, maybe not one in like one Bitcoin because that would be probably too expensive.
Yeah, no, you would have to buy something like 0.0000 something of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So the last question is, what are some alternatives? Which is kind of similar to the question we asked earlier, which is like, what are some other mediums of exchange?
Mm-hmm.
But
Alternatives to cryptocurrency. Um, does it mean online versions of exchange?
yeah, I kind of mentioned that earlier when we first started talking, if you remember, when I was talking about how I get paid.
You said you get paid by TransferWise or PayPal or Venmo or
Yeah,
stuff.
Venmo, PayPal. What
Yeah,
else
but
is there?
there's just a way of putting money into putting normal money into an account where you know it's gonna be there and it's gonna be of the same value that it was when you put it there.
Mm-hmm. That retains value.
Yeah, retains value.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I'm excited for Facebook Libra because everyone has Facebook, which means it's gonna probably be more it's going to be more common for people to start using that.
hmm. Yeah, it's a fast way to send or request money online, I guess, because everybody, as you said, is on Facebook.
Yeah,
Probably be on Instagram as well, since it's owned by Facebook.
yeah. And Instagram already introduced features where you can start to buy stuff directly on the app.
Okay, I haven't seen them.
I don't
Did you
know if
buy anything?
did I buy anything?
Yeah, off Instagram.
No. Nope, I did not.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I unfollowed you and everybody else.
You unfollowed me?
I mean, I unfollowed everybody.
How dare you? How could you do such a thing?
I wanted to have more peace of mind because I'm very bad at controlling myself when I'm on Instagram and scroll through the feed. So I was like, yeah. And I went to Kiev and I met someone who doesn't follow anybody. Like she has zero following.
Why don't you just make a new account?
Why? Because I have people following me. I mean, I made a story and I told my followers, I unfollowed most of you. I mean, I still follow 12 accounts, most of which are like environment stuff. Um, in well code. And so I made a story like I unfollowed you. You should do the same. Unfollow me and everybody else who's wasting your time. Just get off Instagram and live your life. I mean, I got I think 5 people who listened.
Well, it depends how you use Instagram. Because the way I like to look at it is you have like content creators and content consumers.
Yeah, I don't want to be a consumer.
So just stop scrolling.
I can't. I tried. I really tried for like the past months. I've tried. I'm not good at it. It's way easier to just unfollow. I could also mute people, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's true. But if you unfollow people now, you don't see their stories. And I actually really like to look at stories.
It also consumes. I like them too, but it consumes time. A lot of them. A lot of time. I would spend maybe 15 minutes a day on Instagram. But it wouldn't be 15 minutes in one time, it would be like spread across the day and it would take up my brain power.
Yeah, makes sense.
How much do
Cool.
you spend on Instagram? How much time?
Um, a day, maximum maybe half an hour to 45 minutes.
Do you
But
post stuff in that time or both?
um, sometimes yeah, I post stuff that takes a little bit of time, and most of the time it's just me looking at like stories or messaging people on Instagram.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm also planning to use it. I mean, I'm still going to use it and maybe I will start to follow some people. But for now, I just want to get away from it.
Well, you do you. I guess you can decide how to use Instagram.
Exactly.
Cool. Um, well, yeah. Now we're at the end of the lesson. Have any like last comments or questions or whatever?
Um, well, since we have more time, can you explain how Bitcoin works?
Oh man. um, I'm just kidding. I thought
Okay.
this lesson was good enough.
I mean, maybe you still have information that I can use if I want to buy Bitcoin.
Well, if you want to use Bitcoin, you don't really need to know how it works. It's like driving a car. You don't need to know how the car works. You just need to know how to drive it.
I don't trust Bitcoin. That's why.
How do you trust a car?
Yeah, I mean, I trust it more than Bitcoin
How can you?
because
It's more dangerous to be on the road than it is to do anything else in modern society.
yeah, it's just. Mm, okay, so the risk of dying is greater than when you're driving than when you're buying Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you afraid of?
This is just so the car breaks when you're okay, so it can either break because it has a malfunction and you haven't test checked it maybe. But I do check it, so it's fine. I mean it can still break, but it's a low probability.